Tango 1 at the top, we are at pop-up vehicle. 10-4, Tango 1, you have control. Tango 1 copy. Stand by. Stand by.
Integrity, passion, resilience. That's what this place was built on. That's what our community is founded on. Don't act like the example, just be the example. This is the home of the greatest fitness community in the world. We're trying to create strong, able bodies, resilient to injury with a gas tank to get shit done. If there's one thing from this podcast, it's about taking immediate action, find the problem, fix the problem. This is your opportunity. It's either a hell yes or a fuck no. It's that simple. You're doing the Tango 1 podcast. Now is the time to take action. Now's the time to do more and be more.
What do you order? Are you ordering a Big Mac?
Me?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He's testing, right?
One time
Did I tell you the Big Mac story?
Well, you tell me in a second. One time I arrested this guy. It was like a murder, and he was a witness, but he was drunk out of his mind. So I was a brand new guy. So they said, you need to take this guy back to the police station and just feed him coffee until he sobers up so we can like talk to him about what happened. He's just a witness, but he's a bad person still. So we got him in this room, and he's like sitting, and there's like, the room's recorded, right? And he's like, walks up to, he's all fucked up. He's like, can I order a Big Mac with cheese and an extra large fry? It was like I don't know what, it always sticks with me.
The drive-thru, seriously?
No, he's like in the interview room, like this like closed room in the police service, but it's got a microphone in it. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? We're just like watching him. He walks up, he's like, can I get a Big Mac? And like, oh, hilarious. But yes, we did get him food to sober him up. Anyways, what's your Big Mac story?
So a couple buddies. So I was leaving here actually, and I was going to visit a couple buddies. They're like, man, can you get McDonald's? They thought it was funny asking me to go through drive-through McDonald's because I do not go through drive-through, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll get you guys McDonald's. Sends me a list. I don't even know half of these things I don't even know what. Made like a Mac. So there's a term, like you can do it your way. Like I remember going through McDonald's, but it's been forever. And can I get a quarter pounder made like a Mac? I didn't understand what that meant. So I'm in the drive-thru and I'm asking the girl, quarter pounder like a Mac. Oh, you mean made like a Mac? I go, yeah, whatever, made like a Mac. Like it's not a crazy story, but like I was just like, I was reading for like, I didn't even know what
I was expecting more.
No, it was just
like the time you got run over in a drive-thru. Did you get run over in a drive-thru?
No, that's
a long story.
That's another story.
Anyways, everybody, welcome to Tango 1 Podcast. You guys don't recognize this guy's voice. I got level 10, Coach Corey V from the Garage Gym here with me today. And my wife, the Mrs. Smith, Dani Smith, also from the Garage Gym. We are here, all sponsors today. We are decked out and sponsored. We got the Black Rifle Cups going. We're all drinking some Black Rifle coffee. Yeah. Danny's chugging some LMNT, which is like something we're going to talk to you guys about, something new that we're carrying, but it's a product that we love, and I know we want to bring it up because so many people are like not even in this gym, just everywhere talking about that product right now. And of course, I am sipping on some HQ Nutrition. Took my focus, and right now I got EAAs, creatine in there as usual. That's my go-to for, I know Corey, that's your go-to as well. So you can use code TANGO15, get anything from them online, or you can come on into the Garage Gym, buy what you want. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I got last minute. You guys got all decked out for me. Thank you.
We didn't even do this on purpose, but camo is where it's at.
Oh yeah, but Danny's got the Uggs, but I got the.
Yeah, you got your slippers.
Eddie Bauer's, baby.
I got these new Blazers. I bought these to lift in. They're kind of stylish, but like they are not the most comfortable lifting shoes. What is your lifting shoe of choice?
Oh, I like the Metcons. That's my choice, man. They feel good on the feet, but I've been looking to a few other brands. I'm gonna dabble in, I think, and I'm gonna break the wallet. I think I might buy another new training shoe. We'll see.
I'm really partial to those Vans that Danny bought us all. They were like the 3/4 Vans. They were like the black canvas, very subtle, but like they're my favorite lifting shoes ever. I just wore them out like crazy. These are not growing on me yet. We'll see. What do you like to lift in?
Yeah, my Vans.
Your
or
Vans?
Cons. I like Vans better though.
Vans have really taken over the gym. There's been like this whole influx of Vans, like and more than one color. That's what's kind of nice about Vans. Though they're like affordable, where you can have like a couple of pairs for your couple of outfits or whatever the heck people are doing down there. But I do enjoy them. So
they're called fits. They're not called outfits.
Fits is that the okay? I can't believe that you would know this, but
Like that's what the kids say.
that's what the kids say. All
Yeah.
right.
Like,
Oh,
it's
so
like with your gym fit. Like your
Ah.
you don't say outfit. So
You've got a vintage,
yes,
vintage.
this is,
That's a
this is
vintage garage
extremely-
gym.
Extremely pilled and vintagey.
Yeah, it is an oldie.
Yeah.
But you look nice today still.
Oh, thank you.
Oldie but a goodie.
All right, so this is our first episode of 2023. As usual, I usually take a break during the holidays, give Irvin some time off behind the camera and on the media, and give myself some time to like get some new guests together. We got some great guests coming. I wanted to open up. I usually like to open it up with us, with somebody from the crew. So I'm glad you guys are here today. I want to talk about resolutions. We got the big 6WT challenge coming up. I know a lot of people are interested in that. We always talk about on the show because we can say a lot more than we can like on a simple ad about it, so that people understand what we're doing. We're heading down to Gussix for pull through.
Yep.
So pull through 6 is a big one that's coming up soon, and that's where we take a group of people. We'll have it here too this year. So we're gonna do it like kind of a split. We're gonna do half the people are gonna head to Indiana, lift in front of a crew of people at a like Jason's gym is
man.
like hardcore, right? It's just different when you go in there.
It's humbling. It's humbling, man. It's a good crew of guys, and it's nice to see like the lifters in there, and everybody's so positive, and it's just a great environment, man.
Well, it is so funny because there's people who are deadlifting, like going for a 1 rep max of 200 pounds, right?
Yeah.
But they're being cheered on by these guys and girls, but not no girls hit 800 there that I've seen, but there are some. But there's guys there that are doing 800 pounds and they're like screaming their heads off and giving tips to like, like Dana, who's like going for her 300-pound PR. And she's like, a mother of 2, like a real quiet person, practically dances up onto the podium to do her pull, right?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
such
Yeah,
a-
I wonder why they're
such-
giving her tips.
Well,
Strange.
Yeah, no.
well, I was just talking with Sandra actually the other day, because everyone keeps asking how it is, and I'm just like, I remember going there, and when you signed in, you had to start with your first lift. Remember, me, and Karen went, and we wrote. I was writing my first lift.
Karen.
I was writing my first.
Kiwi.
I was writing my first lift down, and it was my first attempt at the deadlift. Right, so you have 3 lifts.
Right.
And some of these guys were like, my PR, like 20% more on my PR was their starting.
Right, was their starting
Blew
first
my
lift.
mind. I'm
Wait,
like,
right.
"Oh, this is ridiculous."
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, man. I remember being there, and I was so nervous and so scared for that was my first time
Yeah.
lifting in front of people that I didn't know or in
Yeah.
that kind of a forum. And I remember going, and my stomach just starts to rumble.
Yeah.
And I look behind me, and Eddie Wineland's there, and Eddie's like a firefighter, but he's also a UFC fighter and
Yeah.
one of the strongest pound-for-pound guys I've ever been around. But Eddie's like, he knows me, and he's laughing. He's like, "You gotta go." So I go into the bathroom, and all he has is a curtain that
yeah.
separates the stall from the urinal. And as soon as I start my Dumb and Dumber like imitation, that's how nervous I was. So
Sit on toilet.
yeah, sitting on the toilet doing the Dumb and Dumber. He comes in and starts smacking on the curtain. He's like, "What's going on in there?" He's screaming his head off. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is the worst." And then you got to go out there and lift, and like you're terrified that once you get that lift up, everything's gonna let go
Yeah,
too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's nervous poops, man.
nervous poops.
Come on.
So, New Year's resolutions. Gyms are busy. I know there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, like." It used to be a negative thing, I think, would get put out there all the time about the gyms being busy and new and all these new people joining. But, like, we love it here. And not from just, like, an income standpoint. I think it just brings a whole new vibe. And I think, like, we've developed a culture where, like, the person who's been here a long time is so welcoming of the new person and getting them started because they know that they were once there.
Yeah, I like it because it almost shows us the difference between even the newest people before the new year. Like you were talking about a group of ladies that we have that are like, let's say the newer group, and like you can tell now how far they've come from just the fall, let's say. So like now we have a group of new people, but then you're looking at these people who technically have not been around that long, and you can see such a vast improvement from when they started. So it makes them feel like they're almost like the veteran helping the new people too. So that's what I like about our culture.
Yeah, I think some of your improvements that you make in the fitness industry and on the industry, I should say, in your fitness journey, is like, I think it's somebody like Tracy Evans, who's been here for a long time. And I think sometimes she doesn't realize the incredible progress she's made in strength, right? Like, you can see body weight, you can see the changes physically, but it's not so easy to recognize that, like, oh man, I'm doing push-ups on my toes, and that person, like, and you see that person, you see yourself in that new person a lot of times, and you're like, like, wow, I've come just so far, right? I was having a conversation with her the other day, and it was so awesome to see the pride that people are seeing in their strength gains, and as well as obviously body image and everything else.
And it's even like with the New Year's resolution, I find I've been doing this for a long time and seeing it repeated all the time, and I love it. I love how everybody is ready to go, and I believe, people want to knock New Year's resolutions, like, oh no, do this, fall off, but like I think it's something to hang on to, and I believe like when we're doing the New Year's resolution, you'll go for a few weeks, and then maybe you're expecting a certain result, and you may not get it. And I feel like people will get to a certain point where they're just about to get there. They're climbing that hill. They're not maybe seeing results right away, and they'll just like either fall off or just lose motivation. And it's just before they're about to get that.
Right before they touch that bell, right?
Exactly.
That
and
buzzer.
I feel like if you could just hang on to the next week, just hang on to the next one, and event like it will hit you hard. It's just you're doing what you need to do for the New Year's resolution. Stay on track, and then you'll hit it.
And that's what you're building, I think, is you're building that like drive to just hang on in more like when you do finally hit that bell, and like I think that's why fitness and health is such a great thing, because it helps to teach you to do that in your own life, like in your own I used to have a teacher, a coach, he used to say, you quit on us, you're gonna quit on your family, you're gonna quit on your work, you're gonna quit, basically it's like setting a tone for quitting. And I think if you can hit your fitness, that people say 6-week transformations are shit because like once it's done, you're done. But no, if it proves that you can hit a goal to yourself, it makes the next goal easier to hit because you've proved yourself that you can stick to it and have the consistency.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to like resolutions or 6-week transformations, I heard Corey talking to someone about this when instead of maybe making a resolution of I want to lose 10 pounds, let's make the resolution be about how to get there.
Right.
Because if you don't lose, like Corey said, if you don't lose that 10 pounds in the first little while, that's what happens. That's what happens to a lot of people is they lose the motivation, they stop. However, if you decide that, okay, what is my habit that I'm going to do that's going to get me to lose 10 pounds, then you don't have that. You do have a kind of like a goal set or like a finish line, let's say, but you have, in order to get there, that's your resolution, not the fact of getting there, like arriving.
Right. I heard you talking. This is one of the reasons I want to have you on.
Yes,
like we were talking about goals.
Yes.
Goals are great.
Habits are stronger.
Go ahead.
So like you can set a goal, have it, but hitting that goal, what are the steps you're going to do to make your habits day to day to hit that goal? So perfect example. So I'm gonna go to the gym 4 times a week. All right. You're gonna set up those days in your mind, and you're gonna set. So what a habit can you do to make you adhere to get to the gym? Well, either you're gonna pack your clothes at the door or even near the kitchen table, your gym clothes. You're gonna have them ready and available, so you're so you're not have to like dig for your clothes and make that habit not consistent. If you can just skip the step, make that a habit that I'm going to put my shoes or put my clothes here, it will get you to get to the gym, right? So if your goal is to get to the gym 4 times a week, set your clothes up 4 times a week. That's the habit, which enhances the goal to get to the gym.
Right. It's just that's why I love resolutions. I think people say like, we're going to talk about this a little bit, how people like bash on resolutions and trainers and things. I think that's bullshit. In a business, in every business I've ever been around, successful ones, they have it. It might not be at New Year's because our year end, like in this business, in November. We look back. What did we do well? What did we do wrong? What are we going to do this year? And when we set a goal, we say, okay, in the next 5 years we want to do this. So in the next 3 years we need to do this. Next 1 year we need to do this. Next 90 days, next week, tomorrow. Right? If you can break it down. So let's use the 10-pound example. We want to lose 10 pounds. What can I do to lose 10 pounds? I got to go to the gym 4 times a week. I have to eat healthy 80% of the week. Those are simple next habits. And then break down those habits. Lay out your clothes. Pack some lunches. Like it's just like then take it down a tier, and all of a sudden you have these little manageable steps that are going to help you to achieve your goal that you can check off every day. And like you said, motivation is fleeting, habits are forever. Forever,
exactly. And like with that, Tony, the resolutions, like I think that when we're thinking about a resolution, okay, you want to think, I'm getting all excited, level 10's coming on me. So when you're thinking about what you're going to do for the year and you're going to set it in stone. It's not what are you going to pick that you can keep yourself adhered to? It's an adherence thing. So
well, it has to be something like you're talking about. It has to be like a small win every day.
Yes.
It's not something that's like the top of the mountain every day.
Yeah. So like, what can we adhere to? What can we keep more consistent? And that's what we're going to stick to get to the main goal.
And I think too, like with breaking things down, I believe it's the book that's called Getting Shit Done, something along those lines, where it's about tasks. So it's like let's say you're writing out a list, or you're writing out what your tasks are. Well, a task could be in for instance with our gym, it could be 6WT. Well, if you write 6WT down on your to-do list, like that's a lot of fucking things. But you have to break it down into like next step. What's the next step? So what's the first step of like my role in 6WT? What's the first step in yours, whatever that looks like?
Yes.
Could be just like make an image for marketing, right? Yes. So then you do that. Okay, check it off. What's the next step beyond that? Breaking it down rather than having this like massive resolution or massive task, you go step by step because that's how it gets done.
And you make it, you make it simple. So like if it's 6WT and we give out, grocery lists or foods that you want to stay in, those are the foods you're going to hit. That's simple. You got to go to the grocery store. That's what you're going to get. And then that's what you're going to do. Like make the simple steps instead of looking at the grand finish.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? Whenever and any time that you want to set a goal and you want to make change in your life, there's never a wrong time to do that. Whether that's January 1st, February 1st, July 1st, it doesn't really fucking matter.
No.
And that's what drives me crazy in the fitness industry is listening to some of these people. Like it's like it just sounds so righteous and so selfish, actually so weak, because you hear people in the industry say like bash the 6-week transformation or bash resolutions because you're watching other people get that business. Like it's so bullshit. Like it's not.
But I think
it's not because you're trying to teach somebody. It's because you are jealous. Like so, one of the things that drives me crazy in the fitness industry is listening to other trainers, as I'm kind of doing that right now, I guess, is listening to other trainers just bash what they're not doing. Like I'm listening. I just watched a video. It's hilarious. This guy is ripping on burpees, and say what you want about burpees. Is it the best exercise in the world? No, but it fucking certainly works.
Yes.
Throw yourself on the ground, get back up. And then goes and does snatches with a barbell. Like burpees are dangerous, and then you're snatching with a barbell. Like, okay, I get it. Like, but it's no more dangerous than snatch with a barbell. It is, in fact, probably more dangerous. And I'll tell you what, a burpee is a lot more functional to life because I might trip over something and have to get back up a lot more often than I have to throw a barbell or a linear piece of whatever over my head. Like, so it's very hypocritical, and it just bothers me so much. Whatever you want to do that's gonna make you, whether it's Zumba, the fucking F45 down the road, us, anybody, get started, take the first step, and don't worry about what anybody else has to say.
Exactly.
And I'd question the trainer who is more worried about what everybody else is doing rather than what they're doing inside their own house.
Agreed. Danny, did you have something?
No, I just feel like I think that people don't like a 6-week transformation, for instance, or perhaps a resolution because they know what 99% of the population is going to do after the 6 weeks, and they want to say, well, like, you should be doing this all the time. Okay, well, a lot of people don't do this all the time. So we can't just rely on motivation. We have to take action in some way. You're not just going to wake up and be like, oh, my running shoes are on my feet. No, you have to put the running shoes on and you have to choose to go to the gym or go for a walk or whatever that looks like. So does the 6WT help that? Yes, because it creates action and kind of helps your motivation. Sure. Right? Does resolutions do that? Sure. It's something where you're choosing to take an action on something. So I think that they're bashing it for those reasons. And whether that's right or wrong, I mean, who cares?
And I think
I agree with you, and I just think that they're doing it I think they're seeing other trainers, other places succeed, and it's more out of a jealousy, to be completely honest with you. It seems very see-through, and the point of our whole 6-week transformation is doing exactly what Corey said. It's creating habits for life. And if we teach you, we don't try to teach 12 habits at once. It's a lot to take on. But for example, if we get through 10 habits and you keep 2 of them, you're 20% better than you were, right? You're doing 20% more than you were 6 weeks ago. And if we called it an 18-week challenge, we wouldn't get many people signing up for that. We're trying to get people, we are trying to light the fire under people and hope that, you know, we get this big inferno going and hoping that they can keep an ember going for a lot longer.
Right. And like the bashing,
Fire for you. That's fire.
I like it, Tony. Like, and the bashing thing, like where I'm going to go with this, and as all coaches here may be listening to this, or we can attest to this, where you'll have a client that asks you, well, is this bad for you? Why is this bad for you? Why is this? As coaches, as a community together, I think we need to figure out and not just bash one way of doing something. I think we need to ask better questions. I think the clients need to ask the coaches better questions, where it's like, well, why are you telling me these burpees are bad? Have the coach explain to you, and then make your own judgment on that. Like, have them give you a relevant answer, and then maybe dive a little bit deep into it. What would work best for you? Like, there is no one way of doing something, right? And whatever you can adhere to and whatever makes you feel your best, that's what you stick with. And I think that's where the confusion comes in when we get those weird questions about nutrition, for example, so dogmatic about like one way of doing something. There isn't. And I think that's what frustrates us sometimes a little bit too, with the, maybe I'm bashing on the fitness industry, but that kind of, I think we need to come together a little bit better there.
Yeah, I think if we all just said we all have different ways of getting you there, pick one that works for you.
Yes.
And then if that stops working for you, or if you see, like, you know, for example, if you just wanted to start walking, no gym membership, just start walking, you've never done anything, you're going to feel some progress. At some point, you're probably going to have to jog a little bit, or at some point, you're going to have to add some resistance training. You're going to keep adding more. And if whatever you're doing, or, you know, your gym doesn't have that, then you need to look for it elsewhere, right? Or if you don't, your home gym doesn't have that, you need to look for it elsewhere. If we don't have it, look for it elsewhere until you can keep getting better constantly, because that's what it's about. Because age is kind of like gravity, it will start to pull you down a little bit. So let's talk about our 6-week transformation just a little bit so people know what's going on.
Oh yeah.
This year we're calling it Survivor. It's the Survivor series, okay? Based off, Danny and I are the biggest fans of Survivor. We can't wait. There's a new one coming on right after Super Bowl. We love to watch it now with our kids. I'm supposed to apply for it. That's the rumors coming up soon. But yeah, This one's Survivor. So we're having people join teams of 4 to 6. We're going to do some challenges in between those teams, some physical challenges, some mental challenges, some nutrition challenges. You guys are providing the fuel program behind it. It starts January 30th, right? What's the fuel program? We don't want to give it all away because a lot of what we do inside of this program is a surprise. But people should know that if you don't have a team, if you don't belong to this gym, you're still welcome, and we will find you a tribe to compete with. That won't be a problem. But what are we looking at for the fuel portion of this program?
Well, I think Corey's taking the lead on that, but we are collabing.
We're gonna try. Yeah, we're gonna make it happen. I'm gonna, you know,
With
push hard there.
With the nutrition, it's nice because Corey and myself, and with the help of Jacqueline, we're all always on the same page with the choices that people should be making, and we don't do it for, let's say, the outcome being, you know, weight loss at the detriment of your quality choices. So that's very important to all of us, and it's nice to have that support, I think.
We're still going to be doing like a performance and a like foundation program. Like people who want to gain some muscle. Yeah, we are. There's your decision.
I think
There's your decision. We got a lot of people in pull through. We can't have them on like.
Well, I think that's going to be on, of course, the coaches and me overseeing. And I think there's a lot of communication when you're coaching people in a certain journey. Not everybody fits in the same avatar. So we are going to take a look, kind of figure out a couple avatars.
Good.
Help get some feedback from clients, get some feedback from the people that are signing up for the 6WT, and then we will base a set of macros, I believe, for them. And then to see our goal, I think, through any 6-week or any transformation, let's adhere, let's keep consistent on this task, and like that's what's going to get you.
Yeah, it is not a weight loss challenge. We do not run a weight loss challenge here. It's a weight loss might be something that comes, right? It's obviously could come depending on where you're starting, right?
Yeah.
But some people might even gain a few pounds if that's their belief, especially if we're going to be going to go and drop some big lifts, right? So some people, last time we had people made incredible transformations that actually didn't lose a single pound.
Yeah,
right?
we're not like.
Right. Some people lost 24 pounds, right? So.
Depends on where you are, exactly. Depends on how many challenges you've done in the past. Depends on what your body composition is currently or at day one, right? So you don't know that. You won't know what's going to happen. Even though you did the 6WT last year, you're saying, okay, well, I lost 8 pounds last year, so that's probably my expectations. Well, let's manage our expectations, and let's make sure that let's expect the habits out of ourselves rather than the outcome, because we can't control the outcome based off of what we just talked about. So I think that's something we're going to hammer through to the participants, is like, I know you've done the challenges before, and I know perhaps what you hope to achieve out of this, but at the same time, let's manage what we know we can control, which is your activity, the food that you put in your mouth, the quality choices that you make, so on and so forth.
And even like if you're thinking about doing the 6WT, or you want to know about 6WT, or you're on the fence, you're like, should I do it this time or shouldn't I, or I've never done a challenge before, what are you going to get from this challenge? You're going to learn something. You're going to be able to meal prep better. You're going to be able to, figure out how to make your life, have better choices, better habits. And then from those 6 weeks, you can take away so much into your day-to-day life. And I think that's the way you got to look at it a little bit. It's not the weight loss challenge. It's how we can, I like to say, slingshot you into, a new you. Slingshot you into new, better habits in your life, right? And you can learn something from that. I think that's a huge takeaway from investing into the 6WT. You're investing in yourself. It's the best return on investment.
Yeah, as always, our goal is to not make you need to come back every year. Like, we run this thing twice a year, and we have people who have taken it like 5 times now. Those people actually, the people who have taken it the most are the people who actually have in between continued to do amazing.
Yes.
And they take it because they love it, because they find that it just slingshots them to the next level of their whatever this journey is for them, or whatever their goals are. And it's just a good way to, all of us, like, there's points where it's like, man, I could use a little support. I could use a little something to fire me up towards that long-term, like 1 year, 5 year goal that I have. And if it's 6 weeks, I can kind of just like, push you a little forward faster and get you back to where you want to be and keep you on track for longer, then hell yeah, go for it, right? And so this LMNT, okay, this is like all over social media. You see people constantly talking about it. I saw a guy yesterday who's doing he's added a ton of conditioning into his workouts, and because of that, he's been taking a couple of these a day. What is this stuff, and like what's it about? Like, I drink it because I love it. It does make me feel. It makes me feel way better. Especially, I've been doing. We'll talk about our own resolution soon, but part of mine, I've been doing 2-a-days. My second workout being just walking or easy rides. But I've been finding that I've actually been like craving this stuff because I feel like I need that to keep me hydrated, keep me feeling hydrated at least.
Well, yes. I mean, ideally, when we talk about with members about drinking more water, that's a great first step. However, just because you're drinking liter after liter of water doesn't mean that your body's utilizing it properly. And it doesn't even have to be that you're adding in a shit ton of cardio, right? It could just be that we all have lots of fluids within our bodies. Our bodies are made of a ton of water and a lot of salty water. And in different parts of our day, or different choices we make throughout our day, those can get depleted. And so this is like an electrolyte drink mix. The nice part is that it's only got potassium, it's only got magnesium and sodium in it. And I would give it to my kids if they were sick, or if I felt like they needed a bit of a boost. Let's say someone has a headache in the house or something like that. This would be something that would be good to kind of bounce you back to get to optimal levels of hydration in your body. So tons of reasons. Like, if you're someone who struggles with dry skin, if you're someone who struggles with maybe fatigue or problem sleeping, if you're someone who struggles with constipation, we have a lot of people a lot of people in the house that struggle with that.
Not in this house.
Weird talk.
Keep going.
I take it back. These are really great ways. This is a fantastic supplement, and it's something that is for overall health. It's not something necessarily like that you would be taking during your workout, for instance. I would take this like first thing in the morning to kind of balance me out, so that I'm hydrated for the rest of my day. And you can take more than one a day.
So you've been in our house. We've been taking this for over a year, probably, right? Like, and now it's part of like the Mrs. Smith, which is Dani's like kind of brand. and the fuel program, which she runs with Corey and now Jacqueline, and this is a product that they're using with there. And so it's not an official sponsor of this podcast, but we wanted to talk about it because there's been so many questions lately on this stuff. So, but speaking of sponsors, I want to say this podcast is sponsored by Ian and Kara Murray from Team Murray Insurance. They are back on board with us and never actually, I shouldn't say back on board, have never left, which is, I want to say how much I appreciate them, their business, our neighbors out in Kingsville, and their OGGs at the gym. Say how much I appreciate their business, their support over the years, and their love of this podcast. So thank you very much. If you guys need any insurance in any kind of way, give them a call. You can find them on Instagram at Team Murray Insurance.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on a little bit of the LMNT and the salt, the potassium and the magnesium that's in there. Salt is very good. Yes, we look at our bros out there that want that solid pump in the gym and looking for like that, that feel good feeling, like, the blood rushing to the muscle, that feeling. And I feel like with that sodium combination and some carbohydrates in your diet, you will definitely feel the effects right away. You'll have some of that. I do right away. If I have some carbohydrate pre-workout meal, and I'll sip on some LMNT before or during my workout, I have definitely more vascularity and where I feel it actually when I get a good pump is like my joints feel a little more supported too, and I like that feeling. So LMNT doesn't enhance that a lot. It's not the only thing, but it's a thing that can help with that. So I feel like that's a big part of LMNT I use. And I also use it, a little trick, I've been starting to use it at nighttime. I got a couple samples of the chocolate mint, and I'll put it with warm water, chocolate mint, and I'll add a little bit of turmeric at the end of the night. When let's say I have that little bit of craving, a sweet tooth or something setting in, I need something, I'll mix that up and I'll sip that watching some Netflix with my girlfriend, and then that's it, go to bed, you know what I mean? So it's not like you're munching on popcorn and chips and you got something.
I've been using it actually this morning. I came in for 6, I had a client at 6 a.m., woke up feeling congested, plugged up, and I poured hot water into just the lemon flavor, whatever it was, a lime flavor or something. Citrus. Poured that into there, threw it in my Yeti, and came in, and like it just feels like a good way to start. You wake up, you're so thirsty.
Yes.
Plus, I was plugged up, so the hot water really helped. And like Danny and I are going to try it maybe tomorrow with tequila.
Yeah, I'll try anything with tequila.
Jacqueline was telling us it's supposed to be great with tequila, but this isn't a commercial for this stuff.
It is.
But we can find some other subjects. Right. I guess we can talk about. We love that stuff. So let's talk about our own resolutions. Like Corey, or actually start with Danny. You want me to start with you? Or want me to go to Corey first?
Sure, I'll start.
All right. What do you got? Anything? One big one or a couple of them this year? What is it?
I don't make
Believe it or not, I don't even know the answer to this. We haven't talked about it yet.
We did talk about it at Brooke and Casey's wedding, actually.
Oh, that doesn't count. Like at 1 a.m. when
yeah.
we're doing shots with Elise.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, okay. That does not count.
So apparently it was very important. No, we talked about it over an outdoor fireplace at Brooke and Casey's wedding. I am someone who I try very hard every day to like think about my day and think about what I could have done better. So with resolutions, I don't necessarily think of like one major thing. Again, because I feel like I have so many like little things happening all the time. So anyways, get to the point. Mine is just to incorporate more movement more consistently. So I am someone who I do work out a lot. But I do also, like, I'm at home with the kids a lot, sitting and kind of like helping them and reading and that kind of stuff. So I find, especially because I had my neck surgery too, that sitting is very bad for me. It makes me hurt. So that is essentially my resolution, is to try to sit less and move more. Even if that means just like getting up and doing the laundry and getting up and making like a tea or a coffee, or getting up or taking the kids, instead of sitting to do an activity that requires no sitting. So just honestly being better at that.
Nice. Corey?
Well, Danny, on that topic, I got a couple. First off, like I want to move, like you said, but I want to move better. So I've been trying to incorporate a little more flexibility, mobility through full ranges of motions in my joints, not try to be so rigid. And I love lifting weights. It's always been, I love hammering that heavy weights, and I think it's addicting for me. But I think as I'm getting a little bit older, I want to like focus a little bit more on, you know, the yoga poses, and like, you know, get a little more flexible in those end ranges of motions where I should be. And it's not the most sexiest stuff ever, but I think it's gonna enhance my abilities to move better. That's what I'm gonna hone in on. And then honestly, I want to read a lot more. So I said to myself, I always say every year I'm gonna read a book. I want to try and get 2 books finished a year. And I'm always listening to audiobooks. I'm always listening to podcasts, which I love because as I'm doing things, it gets the job done more. But I think I need to actually set times for myself and actually sit and read. And that's a big goal for me this year. And I've been...
All right. And what habits are you going to install to get you through these 2 books?
So I'm going to set a book up right next to my bed. So if I get into bed, I'll read the book. I have a book. I bought an actual like side table with books, like a book tray into it.
This is serious.
Yeah, that's how you do. You set them up, right? So then I got a book there, and then I got a book in the kitchen. I got a book. I got the books that I'm gonna read. Like
You've already chosen
in
your
the
books.
bathroom next to the toilet.
Oh,
So I got those set up for me. So I'm just gonna, every time I got a second, I'm gonna maybe read a couple pages or 10 pages or 20 pages or whatever it is, and it's starting to work actually. So might get more than 2 books done. We'll see what happens.
I mean, if you read 5-10 pages a day, I mean, how many books would that equate to in a month, like, or in a year?
Yeah.
Like, you know, what's a book? 300 pages, maybe like a big book, right? Depending on what you're reading, like.
Well,
but like, yeah, you can get through a lot of books like that. When we did that 75 hard, it was just 10 a day, which we've kind of adhered to pretty good. But you like fly through books. It's pretty crazy. It's just the same as in the gym. If you just did, you know, 1,000-meter warm up every day, like that's a lot of meters over a year. It's crazy.
I started to realize myself a little bit, like being dyslexic. So like reading the books kind of take me a long time. So I've always like, okay, I'm gonna listen to my books, and I've got a good job at listening, communicating. But you know, sitting, I always go against that. Like that's my weakness. So I'm always like, I'm fighting it, trying to find an easier way. But really, if I'm gonna really do it, I have to just set myself up and sit there and read, and it might take me a little longer than the average Joe, but it's fine. I'm gonna get the job done.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, good. I love it. I love reading.
What book are you reading right now?
Oh,
Say it. I'm so proud of you for this.
Oh God.
Say
Tony's
it.
not even gonna want to.
No.
Oh, I want to know
Tony,
now, especially now.
Tony needs to read this book after you.
Okay. So as a nutrition coach, most of my clients, I would say 98% of my clients are women. Okay. And as I kept diving into nutrition and finding out how the body responds to certain foods and hormones, I listened to a podcast, and they were talking about this one book called Into the Flow. It's about your 20...
This is what you're
Ignore his
reading.
face. Ignore his face right now. Talk to me, Corey. Talk
It's
to
about
me.
your woman's cycle. Danny, if you can help me with this. I'm still fresh to this
Okay.
right now. But it's about the women's monthly cycle.
So I believe, before you tell me I need to read this book, within this gym we are a team, and we all need to have different expertise. Why on earth do I need to read this book when I can just ask you, and I can read a book about something else, and you can ask me?
Well,
Why wouldn't you just read it anyways, just for your general knowledge? You don't have to be an expert on it, and trust me, you will not be.
You only have so much time. I just feel like that's not the book I'm going to spend my time.
Okay,
So
however,
there's a lot of good stuff I'm getting from it. Just learning with my women clients and nutrition. Like there's just, you know, a lot of hormones, a lot, like they go through a lot through the month, like with fluctuations of metabolism and hunger and all these cues that relate to nutrition. So it's really opening my eyes to the woman's monthly cycles. So I'm like, my eyes are being open to, maybe they come with a certain complaint and maybe they don't want to be forward to me about it, but I can kind of almost read between the lines already and read it and kind of go. So that's where that book can help is starting to help. And I'm only in like 3 chapters and I'm blown away already. So
Yes. And so where that also comes in handy, if you have that knowledge just from your own reading. For me, I ask lots of my clients, where are you at? Like, when's your period? Are you on your period today? Like, what's happening? But women are probably going to be like pretty open with me about it. Whereas like if Corey asks that, they might not feel that excited to talk about it. And they also might be like, why, like, really, what do you know about it? So at least if he has some ideas in the back of his head and he's kind of reading between the lines, he can make suggestions without making anyone perhaps talk about it if they don't want to, which that's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. However, also feel that like they're being supported because they're not the same as him.
That's I
get why
you read. I'm surprised that this is one of the first ones you tackle.
Well, it came up and I'm like, I got to do it. So I listened to when I listened to that podcast and that interview, it was good. It caught me, and as I got into this book, it was too expensive, and I figured, you know, it'd help me in my nutrition coaching career. Thanks, Dan.
Well, one of our resolutions this year is, as a family, or for me, I guess, was to travel every quarter. So Danny and I have booked a trip. We're going to be heading out to Mexico with the kids. And we're going to do this trip kind of like a 50-50 trip. Danny and I, we are like the people who are 100,000% against staying in resorts and all-inclusives. Hadn't stayed in one in 20 years. Went to one just before COVID hit for a wedding and really enjoyed it with the kids. It was a little bit long though, being in the resort for like that whole time. We were people that got to move, and we got around. We still went, left, didn't do the tourist thing. So this time we're gonna land in Mexico, and we're gonna figure it out for 5 days, and then we're gonna spend the next 5 days kind of more in a more of a touristy kind of place. So we're gonna have a little 50-50 in the trip. I'm pumped about it. The boys are pumped. This will be the first time we kind of we're packing backpacks. We're just landing at the airport. We really have no plans. I know that stresses the fuck out of people. My mom cannot believe, she's gonna listen to this. Oh, no. My mom cannot believe that we do not have a plan for when we land, and it's almost like I don't even want to make a plan because it drives her so crazy. So, Mom, I hope you're listening to this, but this is for you. Nice. So, looking forward to that big time, and I think you say talked about there's no wrong time to set a goal. I feel like there's never a right time to book a trip. Like you'll always have, which makes it always right. Like that's why you have to do it, because you'll never have it's like, well, money is tight right now for us, to be honest. And it's like if we don't book it, we won't get it done. Or it's like, I don't know if we'll have the employees. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. But if you wait, we never book the trip. So we just dropped it and booked the trip, and thankful that my mom and my dad have a nice little timeshare that it helps us out a lot. But I'm really, really looking forward to this one.
Me too.
Sweet.
Yeah, you too? Mm-hmm. Anything on the horizon?
So am I.
Oh, yeah, you guys want that? And that's, what else? Like, we talk about business is we put in a new structure. It's set to go February 1st. And we are literally, Danny and I are leaving the day it's set to go. So it should be, hopefully we'll see how it goes. There's no better way to test it than to just jump all in.
Everyone does great when we're away. They handle themselves, and they handle all the difficulties that come about when we're away, and they just figure it out.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on today. All right, and I hope you guys enjoy. If anybody wants to hit us up about the 6WT or even just your resolutions and maybe kind of bounce some ideas off of us, no commitments, that you just want to where you want to go, and we will be gladly hit you back. So you can find Corey at Corey V309.
Yeah.
At Corey V309, at the Mrs. Smith. And you can find me, of course, at Tango and Tony, and all that stuff will be in the show notes. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Irvin, for coming out and braving your strep throat to be here. And we'll talk to everybody soon. Over and out.
Now's the time to do more and be more.